Hey there, gang. My name is Wendy Anderson. I am a longtime national security and defense professional here in DC. Most recently, I served as Ash Carter's chief of staff when he was the Deputy Secretary of Defense, and then I went on to be the #2 for SecDef Hagel when he was in the building. For the last 10 months or so, I've taken on the position as General Manager of Defense and National Security for one of our country's leading artificial intelligence companies called SparkCognition. And so we on the defense side of SparkCognition are committed to ensuring that the United States military has what it needs to retain that technological superiority and our military edge. So I think, as most of you know, we are really in the midst of an ever-accelerating and expanding global revolution in artificial intelligence and in machine learning, with immense implications for both future economic and military competitiveness. As we know, we're the world's most advanced economy. We're the tech hub for all technological innovation globally, for the most part. And as a result of that, we have tremendous advantages over other countries. But we also know we're not alone. With the recent pronouncements about AI investment by the Chinese and the Russians, there's still a lot of work to do. And we know that at SparkCognition, one of the things that we're most committed to is to being a leading provider of developing AI-powered analytics to advance and evolve military systems. So we have the expertise and the experience at Spark really for the following reasons. Number one, we have an unprecedented set of technologies. Number two, we have former military and civilian leaders of the Department of Defense, including General John Allen, our former commander in Afghanistan, who is on our board. We have about 50%, 55% of our total company employee count, data scientists, computer scientists, and software engineers. And lastly, we work across the military space. So it's not just the defense space, it's also intelligence, energy, and homeland security. You see the quote here from General John Allen. We appreciate his support and his endorsement. How does artificial intelligence enable both defense and national security operations? On this slide here, you'll see 4 ways. I'm only going to take on the accelerated decision-making piece, which is a very, very important piece for us. We all know the human mind and all of its complexity, all of its elegance, all of its sort of immense capabilities also sort of runs on 20 watts of energy, is a pretty small thing, and is encased in this cranium that we have. We know that what machines offer us don't necessarily have those same inherent limitations. There's an infinite supply of tactical and operational and strategic decision-making that machine learning can provide us that the human brain can't. So really what I want to focus on right now is a decision tool that we have created at SparkCognition called Spark Decision. So let me give you an example of sort of what this tool is and does. And for a minute, most of you will know this, right? You think about the things in your life that you need to make a really informed decision. You think about the time component, you think about the complexity of your data, you think about the fact that it's really difficult to figure out how to extract value from your data. You think about the budgetary restrictions that you have. So we approach that challenge set with an AI-enabled decision support tool that's designed to adapt to basically any data set and accelerate a what-if analysis for any potential scenario that you might have. So let me talk just very briefly about sort of currently how decision making is approached, and then also contrast it with how we at SparkCognition approach it with AI. Number one, data silos, right? The current approach is that analysis basically looks at one siloed data set over time. Maybe inventory, maybe personnel, maybe something else. Basically, we at SparkCognition avoid data silos altogether. We take a holistic analytic approach that focuses on bringing together all different kinds of data, including data that is external, say, like macroeconomic data. Speed to insight, another really important approach. You know, basically, if you're in a current system, it takes at least 2 months to move from a data pool to sort of full development scenarios. With SparkCognition, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes, which is about a 250 times or 250x productivity gain. Subjectivity. Currently, I think we understand when you're approaching decision making, you've got a lot of tribal knowledge sort of mixed with data. On the SparkCognition artificial intelligence approach, you don't have that. You basically have data, and you have AI capabilities that are surfacing relationships among that data and an analysis based on that approach. Lastly, thoroughness of analysis. In the current system, you basically have a single rules-based approach, right, used to draw conclusions. On the SparkCognition artificial intelligence side, you've got hundreds and hundreds of models that considers scenarios of analyses for one single decision point. I'm going to move on very quickly to the actual demo. I've got about a minute left. So our team at SparkCognition, as I mentioned, has developed this tool to basically rapidly create machine learning models to analyze its holistic impacts from a user-specified simulation, whether for strategic or operational or financial purposes. So here we go. We are going to start the demo. Here's what we're doing. We're creating a simulation. Stick with me here. What we're doing is we click Create. We're using Air Force data, by the way. This isn't real. But we're using combat Air Force data. And basically what we're doing is we're modeling an assessment of the support requirements associated with an increase in F-16s in a particular location. We're choosing a data set here. We're naming the data set Combat Support. What we're doing right here is we're trying to figure out what 2 features do we need to create and place here in the right-hand column under Modified Features. One is the F-16, because we know the asset we're dealing with. The other thing we're interested in is the impact to the fighter pilot, him or herself. So we're choosing Squadron as our second modified requirement. Well, what we also know is that we want to increase F-16s by 10. So we're going from 38 to 48. That's what we're doing here. So we're specifying an adjustment, right? We click Run. What happens now with our AI-powered capabilities is we're running a simulation. So in roughly 20 seconds, now maybe 10, the simulator trains about 10 deep learning models. And it's doing several things simultaneously. One, it's selecting features additional to the ones that we've already chosen. And it's forming literally hundreds and hundreds of generations of neural networks that basically is going to end up spitting out a result, which it's done right here. So if you look at analyzing the results, you have sort of histograms here. You've got historical data. You also have sort of real-time data on the right. What the model has basically come out and told us is that an increase in 10 F-16s will result in a total requirements increase of 35 airmen or women, what you see there in the middle, that number 35, as well as an additional 12 planes, right? So these increases are composed of both fighter pilots and of also logistics, maintenance, and munitions personnel, as well as 2 additional aircraft. It comes back to the very beginning here where you start over with the same simulation dashboard that you did, and you can start running an additional simulation using additional data. We're at booth 8. I'd love to be able to spend a little bit more time with you guys. We do much, much more than decision support tools. We deal with predictive maintenance, automation of data flows. We have an endpoint security protection cyber product. Lots more to learn. I've got my team here. Really looking forward to spending some time with you guys today, and thanks so much for your attention. All the best. Thanks.